Hello. Happy Monday. It is Mindset Monday. What are you guys up to today if you're watching the replay? How's the start of your new year going? Oh, I got a notification is live.
Driving like a rookie.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes. Try to keep your face in the camera if you can.
Like this?
Driving. Yeah, like that. We're going to talk about the single biggest thing that people overlook when it comes to their side hustle. So, a lot of people get started in reselling or photography or what's the side hustle that makes real money? Not taking surveys, because I've never heard of anyone making more than $1,000 doing that. Not that it's not possible or not that it hasn't been done. I'm just saying we're talking about some significant money because you need ideally over $600, I would say.
Is there a reason over 600?
That's the IRS. Like if you're doing a side hustle, like if an employer pays you $600, that's what you need to produce in order to get a 1099.
Right. So that's like the threshold. Where's the camera? Down here?
No, it's right there.
Gotcha.
So the thing that people overlook. So we were talking about with any side hustle, it doesn't matter what your side hustle is. So this is not reselling specific, this is side hustle specific. So you'll get a lot out of this, whether you are a stay-at-home mom doing reselling, whether you have another side hustle, whatever you're doing, I think this is going to be really valuable. So do you want to give them a little more clues as to what we're talking about? What is the single biggest thing people overlook?
No, but just more or less the context. So the reason that we're talking about it now and decided to go live was because this is, you guys know we don't always just like to do nuts and bolts, how to do this or how to do that, right? There's a lot more to reselling business. There's a lot more to business in general that we want you guys to take advantage of. So now being in the first week of the new year, being in the first week of the new decade, right? It's a great opportunity to start doing things the right way, so you can capitalize on them for a long time into the future. So again, for us, these last 6 days have been huge because we've been planning out our year, actually planning out our next 5 years and our next decade, as a matter of fact. And we want you guys to kind of look at things from a different level, a level that a lot of people don't typically look at things from. Specifically with reselling, they kind of, I jokingly call it this little flipping thing. Right. But this little flipping thing, pays our bills. It covers our bills. It's allowed us to move and do so many wonderful things, and now allows us to kind of pour into you guys. But it is big business, especially if you learn to take benefit from all of the facets of being in business.
Right. So here's the thing. Now at, I guess, midnight, when the ball dropped for 2019, it's no longer 2019. You're no longer earning income for 2019, which means that your employers, if you work a W-2 or if your spouse works a W-2, is going to start issuing what we all love, the tax info. So like your W-2s, all those statements, and you're going to see all the money that you made this year. And then what you can't help but think is, I made this money, but I owe taxes on it. And how much taxes do I owe on it? And did we withhold enough to cover our tax liability? And so what we wanted to talk to you guys about is tax write-offs, because it's so important this time of year to start gathering your information from last year, to have an understanding of your strategy for taxes going into 2020, because you can't write off anything now that you didn't already spend on in 2019. Like, all of those expenses have already occurred, and you're just going to let the IRS know what those write-offs are. But
now you can go back. Now we'll talk about this later, possibly. But for those of you guys who are just getting started in reselling, the government does allow new businesses to go back and what they call setup costs or startup costs. So maybe you bought a new cell phone over the last 6 months. Maybe you bought a new computer. You bought some new furniture for your office at home. In our case, one of the first big things we bought was a van to go outsourcing in that we also later use for other things. But these are all write-offs.
Right.
So, but again, that's not to go too deep down the rabbit hole.
So the thing is, people are overlooking these tax write-offs because I don't know if people are afraid, or I think it's a combination of fear of and also lack of understanding when it comes to what write-offs they can take and this fear of being audited.
There's a lot of ignorance to finances in general, right? Because again, I'm doing some work now in a subject about finances, and the reality is most of us kind of start off at a disadvantage because my mom and dad, they didn't teach me how to pay less taxes. They didn't teach me how to earn residual income or how to work smarter. You know, so for a lot of us, we're figuring it out on our own. So that's why this is such a, I guess, a passionate subject for both of us.
So whether like that fear and that ignorance can cost you, because the IRS is not going to come knock on your door and say, hey, Susie, hey, Brian, like you had these write-offs, you spent this money on your business and you didn't write it off. No one is going to take that money for you or take those write-offs for you. No one is going to tell you, not even your accountant, because the reality is most accountants don't fully understand the write-offs you're eligible for because they're not in your business. They don't know what you spent on. They might have an idea, but you know the best because you're running your business.
Right.
And so we want you to make sure that you're taking those write-offs, because here's the flow chart, if you will, of your finances, especially if you're doing this in conjunction with a W-2 job.
Yeah, if you guys are working and you get a paycheck right now, your ears should be like wide open right now, because this is a game changer.
Or even if you're a stay-at-home parent and your spouse
or partner
has a W-2, this still applies to you because you can take write-offs against their income with your business if you file jointly. I guess we should say we're not tax experts. We're just self-educated business people. So this is primarily for educational and entertainment purposes. You know, all those legal disclosures. I forget you have to say things like that. So it doesn't matter either. But there's money earned in your household, and the government takes their money before you see it. So if you make $1,000, depending on your tax bracket and your withholdings that you filled out on your W-4, which we can teach you how to correct, because it's probably filled out wrong. What is it? 80% of people have it filled out wrong?
Yeah, 80%. This is according to the IRS. 80% of people have too much money withheld from their paycheck for taxes.
The IRS is telling you, hey, you guys are giving us too much money.
Yep.
Like, just think about that. So the government takes their money. You go back at the end of the year and, you know, you file your taxes and everything has to line up, and you either don't get a refund, you either zero out, so you don't get a refund, or you don't owe, or you owe, or you get a refund. Refund is the worst thing. Leave a comment if you know that refunds are no good. Or if you love your refund, drop it in the comments. I love getting a refund. I'm probably going to blow that mindset to pieces right now. So here's the thing. You want to neither owe nor get a refund, because that means that you had the correct amount withheld. Getting a refund means that from, let's say you file it April 15th and it takes the IRS, they're moving really fast, it takes them 2 weeks to get you your check. You're going to get your check on May 1st for money that you earned in January of 2019. So literally, the money that you earned, your hard-earned money, has been sitting at the IRS, in the IRS coffers, since last January for a year, and you're still not going to get it back for 5 months. I don't know about you, but I personally would rather have my money. Like, I'm sure there are things that you want to do right now for your kids or your house or yourself that you could use that money today and not in 5 months, let alone the fact that they've been holding it for the last year. So that's why it's important to take write-offs. Number one, because you lower the taxes that you owe, because, as Jared always says, who writes the tax laws?
I always say, so what do I say?
Politicians write the tax laws, and the politicians are business owners, real estate owners.
Or they're lobbied by business owners and businesses. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be a genius to know that the tax laws are written for and by businesses, right? That's the reason you always hear anything, especially on the political level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wealthy people, the conversation normally centers around taxes, because that's basically what determines how much of the money they're making they'll actually keep.
And your taxes are your biggest
Hey,
expense.
Jackie. Speaking of the tax
Jackie.
expert. So and again, getting a refund is another common misconception. Again, I grew up looking forward to that refund like a dog, looks forward to a bone, right? Not knowing that refund I get is actually at the demise of my own finances, because that's money I don't have throughout the year to spend, or I should say to invest, to get out of debt and do smarter things with.
There was a index fund that I was looking at.
I got a game coming up, so we got to make this brief.
In 2019, we have to go in like less than 7 minutes. That returned in 2019 30%. So you could, if you took that money, like whatever you get for a refund, say $1,000, when the IRS gives it back to you, it's just a flat $1,000. If you had put it in that index fund and you earn 30%, you would have an extra $300. The money is just sitting there. It's already sitting in the IRS coffers, bank accounts, whatever, wherever they hold it. Now,
and they're drawing interest on it.
Right. Like, don't you think they're earning interest on the money that they're holding? Like, that would be irresponsible for the government not to earn interest, even if it was a low interest savings rate. Anyway, so you earn the money, the IRS kept the money, and then you're excited to get your money back interest free. That's really not the way to set it up. What you need to do is you need to adjust your W-4 so that you're getting the correct amount taken out. And when you have a business, if you haven't adjusted your W-4 since you started reselling, like, what? Like, we need to get together. We need to talk about this, and leave a comment like, I need to adjust my W-4. If you started reselling and you haven't adjusted your W-4 since then, that is the most important thing you can do for your finances, because it doesn't matter how much money you make. Even if you make no money, let's say worst case scenario, you went out and sourced every single week and you didn't sell a single thing, you still have tax write-offs available to you.
Right. And the government, IRS, determines a legitimate business of having something that you work. I think case law is something like you work at 3 to 4 hours a week, and you have the intention of making a profit. So I think
you don't have to make a profit.
You don't have to make any money, actually. So again, if you meet those two requirements, guys, you can now take all the legal tax write-offs that are available to you as a home-based business owner in the business of reselling or whatever else you may be doing.
Right.
So again, most people literally are astounded by how many write-offs and deductions that business owners can take legally, right? Never fails to amuse me if we do a workshop or something like that, and I just rattle off a couple of them. People literally, their eyes start to roll back in their head because they can't believe all of the things that they either don't have access to or have access to and weren't taken advantage of.
Right.
So, I mean, and again, we're talking about things like a portion of your rent or mortgage at home, and all of the associated utilities, a portion of your car payment or lease or, miles that you drive, your cell phone plan, a laptop that you do your listings on, the printer or the light kit that you need to buy. Just so many things, guys. It gets, again, it's almost painful for me because more people don't know and take advantage of this. But again, you guys as resellers now, again, whether you're on the bottom floor, like you're just getting started, or you're a veteran, or anywhere in between, most times people aren't fully taking advantage of these, and being at the top of the year, this is a great time to really get kind of locked in on both facets of the business, right? You have the making money from reselling, but you also have the tax advantages. And
exactly,
I love the fact that with this business, the way we teach it anyway, we like to think we teach it very low risk, very high reward, but you have the same tax advantages as the big brick and mortar boutique,
if not
right?
more.
If not more. Actually, you do have more, because of healthcare and some other things that are particular only to home-based businesses. So
yeah. So we want to leave you with that. If you guys like this topic and you want help, because I know that some of you I think that your employer is required to send your W-2 by the end of January, like January 31st, you're going to start getting these and you're going to start filing. If you want help in this process, understanding more how you can take write-offs, even if you haven't tracked anything, even if you have no idea what you're doing, even if taxes scare you, if it's overwhelming to you, our job is to not only demystify reselling, but the things that come along with it. Like Flippin' Freedom for us, like our mission is Flippin' Freedom is freedom, fulfillment, and happiness. And in order to get those things, that's why we teach reselling and we talk about business and because when you understand that freedom standpoint and you get that, that can lead you to fulfillment and happiness. So that's why we wanted to talk about taxes. So if you want more tips, if you want us to go live about this more and do some more trainings on this, I want you to drop a comment that says, I want tax tips. I want tax tips. Drop that comment, let us know. Based on the interest level, we'll decide, if we're going to keep talking about the subject. But it's so important because if 2019 didn't add up for you revenue-wise the way that you wanted, and you or anyone that you're filing your taxes with has a W-2 job, you're going to want to know this information because it's going to make it worth it.
Absolutely.
So, we have to go. We got to jet on home. One more exit over.
Yep. So we just want to come in live again. A little bit of Mindset Monday, a little bit of kind of top of the year business strategy planning, if you will. But hopefully you guys had a great first couple of days of 2020. Hopefully you're locked in. You got a clear picture of what you want your reselling business to do for you. And now after watching this live, now your mind should be opened up to some of the tax advantages. I have a friend of mine, and I'm actually working with her, help her adjust her W-4. And she has a 9-to-5 job. She actually works at Home Depot as an executive, and we were able to make some changes, take some write-offs as a new business owner, and she was able to increase her take-home pay by almost $750 a month. Crazy. $750 a month, and she plans on now taking that extra take-home pay, paying off her car loan. She has like a high interest rate car loan. She wants to knock that off ahead of time, and then once she has the $750 plus the car loan that she's not paying anymore, well, now she can really do some awesome things. So
Dave Ramseyers know this as the snowball. These tax strategies can help you snowball much more quickly.
Exposure snowball. So thanks, guys. Have a great Monday. We will catch you guys soon. And again, like Hallie said, drop a comment in if you do like this subject beyond reselling or this brand name, that brand name. If you like it, let us know. Okay.
All right. Bye,
see you.
guys.
Ciao.